So it's no surprise that the S&P 500 has been an incredibly good performer over the past year, and in the past month it has exceeded over 6,000 points, up by nearly 4% month on month. Now in the UK things are never quite as good as they are in America, and the FTSE 100 is down by nearly 2% and the FTSE 250 is down by over 1%. So in this video I'm going to walk you through my Trading 212 Invest account and my Trading 212 ISA account and see how things have been affected for me personally. Now as you can see, my current portfolio value is £1,756 and my account value here is considerably higher. Now before I start this video, I want to make it very clear that I do not recommend anyone to do what I'm doing. Being outside the market is, quite a silly thing to do, and I personally understand the risks and I'm happy to do that. And this channel is all about long-term investing, but that is not exactly what you're going to see in this portfolio. So I'm just warning you, don't judge me. If you would like to sign up to Trading 212 and receive a free fractional share worth up to £100, you can either click the link in the description down below. Alternatively, if you've signed up to Trading 212 in the past 10 days and haven't received a free share, all you have to do is click the 3 horizontal line menu over here, scroll all the way down until you see the use promo code section, and then enter the code JUBAIR and you should get a free fractional share. So this is my Trading 212 Invest account. I'm going to go through all of my holdings. So like I said in another video, they have changed the layout for Trading 212. Now you can actually order them by value, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go from the lowest to the highest and then explain why I'm holding so much cash. Now first off, I have 0.01 shares in the Vanguard S&P 500. So over the past month this has absolutely stunned people, up by over 5%. And again, I hold a very small amount and that is up by 7 pence, only really holding this just to actually track the market, nothing much more or less. So second, I have 2.01 shares in Direct Line Insurance. Now over the past month they have not been faring well at all, down by 8.78%. So in my portfolio now overall they are down by 16.75%, and that is a loss of 67 pence. But again, not a big holding here, valued only at £3.33. Now they do pay a decent dividend yield of 3.63%. And here when we check out financials, I'm not going to go through them individually in this video, you can do that yourself, but you can see, yeah, it actually doesn't look too bad for this company at a glance anyway. You can see revenues going up a little bit and net income seems to be fine. But then again, investing in companies, if you want to do that, individual companies, you should always do your own research. There are tools here to see overviews, but I would not just rely on that. Now next I have 0.03 shares in AMD. Now over the past month AMD has been completely tumbling, down by 13.4%, unlike all the other Magnificent 7 companies, especially seeing that the S&P 500 is going up quite a lot. It's kind of weird to see that AMD isn't. But anyway, I hold a very small amount. I am up overall by 84%, and that is a gain of £1.68. They don't currently pay a dividend yield, and here are their financials at a glance. So next I have 0.29 shares in GlaxoSmithKline. Over the past month they are down by 5.28%. So in my portfolio overall I am still up by 4.03%, and that is a gain of 16 pence. Not a great investment. I've held this for nearly 2 years and I'm only up by 4%, but then again I don't have a huge amount of money in this. It's again more like a tracker, something just to look up upon every now and then. They do pay a dividend yield of 4.34%. Next I have 0.49 shares in National Grid. Over the past month you can see below my average buying price, down by 1.45%, which means I am now down overall by 2.82%, and that is a loss of 14 pence. Again, not a great investment in the long term. You can see over the past year, it has pretty much done nothing, just about lost people 2% in value. So next I have 0.16 shares in Moderna. Over the past month doing really badly, down by 20.42%, and as you can see now in my portfolio overall I am down by 46.33%, and that is a loss of £5.11. You can see in 2023 that net income was in the negative here, and they don't currently pay a dividend. So next I have 0.12 shares in Walt Disney. Over the past month, not too bad, up by 5.74%, and in my portfolio overall now up by 6.17%, and that is a return of 57 pence. But again, I've held this for now 2 years, and it hasn't really done much of a good return over those times. They do pay a very small dividend yield of 0.76% currently, and here is a quick look at their financials. So now getting into the £10 range, I have 0.02 shares in ASML. Over the past month, they dropped a huge amount. You can see down overall in the past month by 19.02%. As you can see, it is now below my average buying price. Now in my portfolio overall, it is down by 10.39%, and that is a loss of £1.26. They pay a small dividend yield of 1.25%, and looking at their income statement, it does look like things are going up really well for them, but I'm not sure what has happened to the share price. So next I have 1.01 shares in Deutsche Bank. Over the past month, down by 3%. In my portfolio overall, however, I am up by 21.76%, and that is a gain of £2.33. They pay a decent dividend yield of 2.9%, and here's a quick look at their statements. So next I have one share in Carnival PLC. Over the past month, doing really well, up by 19.79%. And in my portfolio overall, this one's actually a sleeper because it is up by 140%. And no one really knows about this company, not giving you financial or investment advice. That means I have a positive return of £9.80. And fun fact, I actually got this as my first ever free share on Trading 212. If you see here, you can see that I actually started investing with Trading 212 on the 1st of September 2022 when I got my free share. It has now been over 2 years, which is absolute madness because that's also when I started my YouTube channel. So next I have 0.38 shares in Mercedes-Benz. Over the past month, not well at all, down by 8.14%. And in my portfolio overall, they are down by 18.85%, and that is a loss of £3.91. Absolutely poor investment over the past few years. Now they pay still a very high dividend yield, at least according to Trading 212, of 10.12%. Very, very high. Might get cut soon. And here is a quick look at their financials. So next I have 2.32 shares in Orange. Over the past month, down by 2.54%, and that is a loss now overall in my portfolio of 14.59%, a loss of £3.26. They pay a high dividend yield, a very high dividend yield of 7.29%, and here is a quick look at their financials. So now getting into the £20 range, we have 0.37 shares in BMW. Over the past month, again like Mercedes-Benz, down by 12.46%, and in my portfolio overall, really bad investment, down by 34.65%, and a loss of £11.16. They pay a really high dividend yield of 8.88%, and here's a quick look at their financials. So next I have 6.2 shares in Royal Mail, and over the past month they are down by 1.05%, and in my portfolio overall they are up by 59.31%, and that is a gain of £7.87. Now they pay a very small dividend yield of 0.59%. So next I have 0.9 shares in the Vanguard Germany All Cap. Over the past month they are down by 1.86%, and in my portfolio overall they are up by 5.18%, and that is a gain of £1.07. So next I have 0.4 shares in Nike. Over the past month, down quite a bit by 7.9%. In my portfolio overall, they are down by 27.95%, and that is a loss of £9.25. They pay a small dividend yield of 1.95%. And here is a quick look at their income statement. So next I have another Magnificent 7 company, Microsoft here, 0.07 shares here. And over the past month, you'd be surprised that they are only up by 1.19%. You can see in my portfolio overall, up by only 5.99%, not the best of the Magnificent 7 investments for me, and that is a gain of £1.36. They pay a very small dividend yield of 0.71%. So next I have 35.1 shares in Vodafone. Over the past month, Vodafone is down by 3.22%. In my portfolio overall, down by quite a bit, 20.97%, and that is a loss of £6.71. Now for some reason it still says Vodafone is paying 10.73% as a dividend yield, and I believe that is not true anymore because they have been cut. So it's always worth, double checking these numbers before you invest. So now in the £30 range I have 3.16 shares in H&M. Over the past month, down by quite a bit, down by 8.02%, and in my portfolio overall they are up by 4.79%, so not a lot, up by £1.65. They pay a good dividend yield yield of 4.04%. And again, quick look at the financials. So now in the £40 range and one of the Magnificent 7, Tesla, 0.17 shares in them. You can see that this month everything has changed for Tesla because it was actually below my average buying price of $210, and then it skyrocketed because of course of the elections, you know, Donald Trump winning. He's basically very good friends with Elon Musk, it seems anyway. And like I've always said about this company, it's very speculative, it's very news based, so you know, that's why personally I won't buy any more of this. But in the past month it is up by 33.91%, and now in my portfolio overall it is up by 48.12%, and that is a return of £13.95. And they do not pay a dividend yield, but you can see from their financials that the revenue seems to be increasing incredibly year on year. So next I have 1.5 shares in Delivery Hero. Over the past month, down by 7.82%, not doing too well. In my portfolio overall, still up by 20.4%, and that is a return of £7.86 in the green. You can see they don't currently pay a dividend yield. But you can also see from their financials that revenue seems to be going up really nicely, but not net income. So next in the £50 range, I have IAG, 23.17 shares in them. So over the past month, up by a really nice 18.46%, you know, taking off. And in my portfolio overall, now they are up by 54.68%, and that is a return positive of £19.21. They pay a really small dividend yield of 0.9%. You can also see from 2020 to 2023, revenue has been growing really well. So now in the £60 range, I have another Magnificent 7 company, 0.47 shares in Alphabet. Now over the past month, they are up by a nice 10.26%. And in my portfolio overall, they are up by 32.5%. And that is a positive return of £16.02. They pay a very small dividend yield of 0.22% here. Now next in the £70 range, I have Apple, 0.42 shares in them. Now over the past month, not what you're expecting, down by 1.13%. And in my portfolio overall, they are up by 24.12%, and that is a return positive of £14.59. They pay a very small dividend yield of 0.44%, and financials always seems to be pretty good with Apple. So next I have 21 shares in BP. Over the past month, they've taken a tumble, down by 8.14%. In my portfolio overall, not the best investment, down by 28.95%, and that is a loss of £32.04. And they seem to be paying a very high dividend yield of 8.46%. So next, in the £90 range, I have 18.13 shares in Deutsche Lufthansa. Over the past month, down by nearly 2%, and in my portfolio overall, down by 29.03%, and that is a loss of £38.83. They pay a good dividend yield of 4.75%. Now next, in the £100 range, I have 0.9 shares in Nvidia. Over the past month, keeping on course, which is up by 11.2%. And in my portfolio overall, crazy numbers here, up by 385.84%, and that is a return of £82.30 in the green. They pay the smallest dividend yield I've ever seen at 0.02%. And of course, looking at their financials, everything looks to be skyrocketing. So next, I have 2.13 shares in PayPal. Over the past month, up by 1.62%, but in my portfolio overall, they are up by 31.72%, and that is a gain of £33.04. They don't currently pay a dividend yield. So next I have 343 shares in the Lloyds Banking Group. Over the past month, down by surprisingly 10.4%. In my portfolio overall, up by 19.6%, and that is a gain of £29.90. And of course they are known for their dividends, 5.46% there. So next I have 33.5 shares in Rolls-Royce. Over the past month, up by 4.18%, and in my portfolio overall, they are up by a massive 238%, and that is a gain positive of £130.79, and no dividends to be seen here. Now in the £200 range, I have 1.2 shares in Amazon. Now Amazon has been skyrocketing over the past month, up by 12.46% overall, and in my portfolio overall, it is up by 92.51%, or a gain of £96.69, and there's no dividends to be seen here. Now lastly, I have a pie where I have been investing £10 into the S&P 500 every single day. And as you can see, at the end of 20 days, I am up by a really nice 3.18%. And that is a gain positive of £6.37. Now, as you may have noticed, my portfolio only adds up to £1,756. And in my open positions, that is a return of 26.22% or a return of £364. If you go through all of my old portfolio updates, you will see that I've been holding these shares for quite a bit now, and I just update you every month. However, the biggest holding right now in my Invest account and my ISA account is in cash. I hold £20,022, which in my Invest account isn't the worst thing ever. I'm going to wait until April and transfer this over into my ISA. Currently, you can see that we are still getting 5.17% as an annual equivalent rate on Trading 212. This is of course subject to change, and especially because rates have been cut again to 4.75%. I'm not sure how much longer, this is going to be staying above 5%. But anyway, you can see that is a daily interest of £2.76. So what I've been doing on my Invest account, which I don't again recommend anyone to be copying or anything, is just having fun, a bit with the markets, with the volatility in the markets, just buying and selling, the S&P 500. Now, as you may know, if you've watched these videos from the beginning, I've been doing this for a while now. And in my Invest account, I've realized a profit of £4,000, which is not too bad as a percentage wise. This tax year already, I've realized over £1,000 in profits just from doing this. If you do a return on the calculation, that's about at least 5% that I've gained already from doing this. But I again do not recommend anyone doing this. It has actually been pretty lucrative for me, and I'm okay with doing this, even though, I probably would make a whole lot more, if I actually just stayed investing into the market. So a very similar thing here with my Trading 212 ISA account. You can see I only have this one pie, which I'm investing £100 every single day into the market. This is with the Invesco FTSE All World, and as you can see, we are currently up by 1.86% in 20 days, and that is a gain of £37.21, which is really, really nice to see. Now, my biggest holding is in cash, £105,599, getting that 5.17%. That is a daily interest payment of £14.57, which is actually really, really high. Here you can see, some of my interest payments. Some days have been lower because, again, I've been in and out of the market, something I can't recommend. So far, I have realized a profit of £6,180 by doing this, £1,000 from dividends. If you've been following this for a while, £60,000 was transferred from my other account. So actually, this has only been 2 tax years worth of ISAs. Overall, I'm still happy with my return, even though I'm all in cash. I guess the only positive thing about that is that I'm getting that 5.17% interest on my cash, and that if any opportunities come in the stock market, I'll be in a great position to take them up. The other positive, of course, being that if a market crash happens, I pretty much won't be affected because I have it all in cash. But I know that I would rather have my money invested into the stock market rather than having it in cash, but I just haven't had the greatest of times, trying to time it, which goes back to the whole saying, time in the market is a lot better than trying to time the market. So make sure to check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you in the next video.